Smith Museum. Hi, my name is Jeff. I'm the Chief Curator here at Museum of the Bible, and glad to have you along today as we take another look at some of our galleries, show you some of the things that we hope you can come see when the museum opens again soon. Here we have some things that show really direct connection from the Bible to this really important period in American history. The most obvious and biggest thing here is our fantastic replica of the Liberty Bell, the original which is in, of course, Philadelphia, originally hanging in Independence Hall. If you walk around, I'll show you some of the important things about this bell that a lot of people might not know. So the Liberty Bell itself actually gets that name well, for a couple of reasons, but primarily because if you look at the inscription, which is cast into the top of the bell, well, there's words, and it reads like this: "Proclaim liberty throughout all the land unto all the inhabitants thereof." Proclaim liberty throughout all the land unto all the inhabitants thereof. And if you get around to the backside, I'm making Allison work here. If you get around to the backside, you see where that comes from. Leviticus 25, verse 10. So the phrase liberty, proclaim liberty, actually is taken from the Bible, from the book of Leviticus. And there's a very specific reason that verse was chosen. This bell, this Liberty Bell, was ordered in 1751, which was the 50th anniversary of the founding of essentially the state of Pennsylvania, when they adopted what would eventually become their constitution. And 50 years later, they wanted to celebrate that by casting a bell. And they ordered this from England. It took a couple years, of course, to get it all together. But they chose this verse from the book of Leviticus intentionally, right before that passage in Leviticus 25, verse 10, it's talking about the year of Jubilee. And it says, count 7 weeks of years, 7 times 7 years, so that the time of the 7 weeks of years shall give you 49 years. Then sound a loud trumpet on the 10th day of the 7th month. On the day of atonement, you shall sound the trumpet throughout all your land. Consecrate the 50th year. There's that 50th year reference for the anniversary of the founding of the state of Pennsylvania. And then that verse, proclaim liberty throughout the land to all its inhabitants. This continued to be used in the Pennsylvania State House, as it was called, today called Independence Hall. And in fact, we see people like Benjamin Franklin referencing hearing the bells and being called to go to work at politics, he says. And in his letters, he doesn't sound very happy about having to go deal with politics in Philadelphia. It didn't actually get the name Liberty Bell, though, until 1844. At that time, there was a lot of debate in the country, of course, about the legality and the ethics of slavery, strong abolitionist movements, and one newsletter in particular was very vehement about its anti-slavery stance and printed a poem that was called The Liberty Bell. And there's about 8 stanzas to the poem and references the Liberty Bell and this passage from Leviticus, in particular in its call to freedom for slaves. So a quote from that poem: "Ring loud that hallowed bell, ring it till the slave be free." So the name Liberty Bell actually got attached to this, about 100 years after it was cast, and specifically in the cause of freedom and the ending of slavery. The stock of our replica is actually a pretty cool story as well, this wooden stock. There were, throughout the colonies, what were called liberty trees in these town squares in the center of town, where people would gather to talk politics, talk business, just a general gathering spot, generally a large oak tree. That was a gathering spot. And Boston had one, Baltimore had one, sort of these liberty trees. Well, there was one also in Annapolis, Maryland, just about, 40 miles outside of D.C. on the Chesapeake Bay, and a site where a lot of important activities happened around the time of the Revolution. That's where George Washington resigned his commission as General of the Army because the Congress was meeting there in 1782. The Liberty Tree in Annapolis was destroyed during Hurricane Floyd in 1999, but they saved the wood. And part of the wood from that Liberty Tree in Annapolis is now the stock of our replica Liberty Bell here at Museum of the Bible. So it's a pretty cool direct link to, Revolutionary War times here with the wood, with the bell, and a really great story about the impact of the Bible right here in this amazing replica here at Museum of the Bible. Hope you get a chance to come see it.